Do you have to sacrifice in a relationship? What do you think? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach about parenting, good relationships, and communication all over the world through the lens of self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about sacrifice and if it's necessary. Some people wonder if a relationship could be the right relationship for them if they actually have to make any sacrifices. I love Hallmark movies. I've been watching Hallmark movies forever, and they're so picture perfect, aren't they? They just look like everything works out perfectly for everybody else. And very rarely do you see that that person has to make a huge sacrifice for the person that they love. Instead, it seems like it all just comes together and it's a happy ending. But even Cinderella had to make sacrifices. Even the prince had to make sacrifices to go looking for her. Everyone makes sacrifices in relationships. In fact, making sacrifices are actually a sign that you have deep love for that person. We shouldn't be afraid of making a sacrifice. In fact, sacrifice shows devotion. When a person is willing to sacrifice for their country or sacrifice for their God, they are showing deep love and devotion. Now, obviously, a person shouldn't take abuse or something like that. That would be not the right type of sacrifice. But when a person is willing to give up some of their comforts so that someone else can be a little bit comfortable, when someone is willing to put someone else ahead of them, then that's a sign of love. In fact, that is a sign of cherishing. I've always told my children that when they're looking for that right someone, that they should be focusing on cherishing the people. When they find someone who truly cherishes them, meaning they will sacrifice for them, and someone who they truly cherish or will sacrifice for, then they know they've found a good one, someone worth looking at. Very rarely will you find someone in your life that you don't have to make a sacrifice for. In family, in parent relationships, and child and sibling relationships, we all sacrifice because we're all united and we all love. And I know some people might think, yeah, but I didn't choose them. I was just stuck with them, so I had to sacrifice. Well, they are the people that are the closest to you, and somebody knew you needed them, which meant that everybody was going to sacrifice to make that work. And why would we expect any other family dynamic or any other relationship dynamic to really be anything different? Do you have to sacrifice for a relationship? Usually, yes is the answer. If not, then I'm wondering if you're just being entitled in a relationship, because some people just expect everything to happen for them. You don't want to be stuck in that type of a situation, because then you're not giving anything back and your relationship will be short-lived anyway. So if you look up the word sacrifice in Webster's 1828 dictionary, the very first definition that it gives is actually a definition about sacrificing to God or giving devotion to God. So let's just take that word God. So the word God is actually the root word of good. If something is good, then that means that something is godlike or done in a way that God would hopefully do it. And so if you want to have a good relationship, then you have to give something, right? You have to give to that goodness. You have to behave in a way that would be in alignment with goodness, or if you're a God-fearing person, in alignment with God's way. Then you know that you are actually truly giving sacrifice. You're giving something that is good for someone else. If we look in Scripture, we look in the Bible, and we see Jesus Christ is usually talked about as the Lamb, and he is talked about as the ultimate sacrifice, right? He gave his life for other people so that they can be remitted of their sins, so that they can be resurrected. This is the Christian sacrifice. And I know there's many other religions that have their example of sacrifice, but this very common, I mean, think Narnia, Aslan sacrifices himself to save Edmund and to save the other people from destruction from the dark forces. So there had to be someone who was good, who gave of themselves. So if you are giving of yourself, then you are performing a good act. It's something that is godlike to do. So in a relationship, isn't that a good thing? To behave in good ways, to give the best or to give the good of yourself, the godlike of yourself to somebody else? I would hope so. Another meaning of the word sacrifice is devotion. So if you devote yourself to somebody else, then you are sacrificing for them. So being loyal and devoted to another person is sacrificing. So think about that in a relationship. If you are sacrificing in your relationship, then you are saying, I will be loyal to that person. I will be devoted to that person. And if loyalty and devotion feel like too much of a burden, if you don't want to give that type of a sacrifice, then you've got to look inside in your own heart, right? And decide if there's something that you can fix about you, if you can maybe find more love and caring and loyalty for that other person. Each person in a relationship should feel loyal, should feel devoted, should feel like they want to give what is good within them. That's what it means to truly sacrifice. Now, how can you do it? Let's answer that. Before we talk about how you can better sacrifice in a relationship and maybe even help your heart change a little bit, click that subscribe button. This channel is full of videos that will help you have better relationships, that will help you become the best version of yourself. So click subscribe now. So what can we do to increase our own desire to sacrifice in relationships? And what can we do to really make a strong relationship? Really, our own desire to sacrifice means that we have to give up selfishness, and we have to give up judgment and pride and perfectionism and all of those things that can get in the way from us appreciating another person. There are indicators if a person isn't the right person for you, right? I mean, there's just going to be trouble after trouble. There's going to be a lot of key virtues or values you don't align on. I mean, when people are looking for someone to connect to romantically and, pursuing marriage and deep relationship like that, I mean, make sure your belief systems are the same. That's going to help you both tremendously. But when you're looking at just the little things that annoy you, like, oh, well, so-and-so never takes out the trash, or so-and-so, never wants to cook or something. Okay, those are pretty minor things, and everybody's got their little quirks. So what we have to do is we have to look past some of those little things for who the person really is, for their true value, so that you can actually appreciate that and cherish that. This means that you have to give up selfishness. We all have a tendency to be selfish, to want everything perfect to our specifications all of the time, but that's just not how people are. They're not perfect. We're all a work in progress, right? Which means that we can't be focused on some inconvenience we may have to endure. In fact, if we are experiencing selfishness and maybe focusing on an inconvenience that we have to endure about somebody, then probably we're asking ourselves the wrong questions. The question should not be, do I have to sacrifice, or should I have to sacrifice? But the question should maybe be, what can I give to this person? What can I contribute? What do I bring to the table? And how can I help them? How can I bond better with them? Those are going to be the questions that are going to lead to much more productive action than questions about what you might have to do. Sacrifice is part of every relationship, every business venture, every purposeful thing that you ever do with your life, you will have to sacrifice. So make a plan to sacrifice. What does a plan to sacrifice look like? Well, first you make a picture of what you want your relationship to look like in your head. And I'm talking about the ideal. Yeah, so you say, well, I would like our relationship to be like this. I have this picture of how we relate together and stuff like that. But don't just stop there. Then say, okay, so when we have problems, because you will, because everyone does, I've been married for 30 plus years, and guess what? Sometimes you have problems. So what you do is you say, okay, so when we have problems, what will we do then? Okay, well, now you have a vision for you handling problems, for you communicating openly with each other, for you actually becoming the person that each other needs on a daily basis, not just on the special moment basis. So now you're not having a relationship just for dress up occasions and when you're out with friends, but you're having a relationship for the whole time so that you really are each other's all. That's what you need to have in a relationship, and it will require you wanting to become the best version of yourself. So I've told people, especially my own children, many times one of the best things you can look for in a future companion is somebody who wants to change for the better, who's someone who wants to become a better version of themselves. And what that also means then is that you need to become the best version of yourself. You need to be constantly wanting to change for the better too. If you have two people that are wanting to change for the better, and both of them wanting to sacrifice to help the other person, to nurture that other person along so that they can change to become the best versions of themselves, then you actually have the recipe for a pretty dynamic relationship. A pretty powerful relationship. Your relationship is not just about what you get out of it. It's about what you give to it and what happens to the both of you because of it. That's what's important to recognize and remember. Now, in your relationship, there are going to be hard times that come. Times where you'll need to have certain skills in place. And since you've stayed to the end of this video, I would like to give you a free gift. I have what I call a Calm Parenting Toolkit. Now, maybe you're not a parent yet, but the tools for calmness, which I talk about in this Calmness Toolkit, will benefit you in any relationship. In the description below this video, there is a link. The link says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. If you click on the link to that toolkit, you can have the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. It will give you 10 tools in 10 lessons that you can use to be calm when somebody else isn't, how to help them get calm without losing your calmness at the same time. It will help you get on the self-government track for becoming the best version of yourself so that you can have the best relationship with them possible. Click on that link now.